Soulmate family? It's your girl, the one and only Tiffany Lorene, and I'm coming at you with a different type of video. So today we actually have a special guest, and she goes by the name of Kari The Mortician. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Kari The Mortician is here to talk with us today. So make sure y'all show her some love down in the comments, Soulmate family. Show her how we do it over here. You know what I'm saying? Show her the love. Give her all of that. All of that. You feel me? Make sure you follow her on Instagram. I'll have her handle down below her video, so you can make sure you do that. And let me know in the comments who else you would like to see. Who would y'all like to see me interview next? You know, this is something new that I'm trying to bring and make a part of the channel, because there's a lot of interesting people out there and we want in on them. So yeah, y'all, remember to let the love go up and the hate go down, and I'll see y'all in the interview. Love y'all.
I was like, whatever.
It's recording now.
Perfect. Okay.
So yeah, I'm the same way, but I just wanted to say welcome.
Thank you.
I actually stumbled. I'm so sorry about my dogs.
They're fine. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, so I actually stumbled across your page on Instagram, and I said, hold on, she's too pretty to be doing this. Hold on.
Oh, stop.
And she's like, what now? And I went to your page and I was just so intrigued.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Yeah, so I just had a couple questions for you, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
let's do them.
Yeah, okay. So the first one would be what got you into doing this? That's my first question.
Yeah, so when I was 16, I needed a job, and my mom worked at one of the local funeral homes at the time. She was a nurse and had been in all different areas, mostly in pediatrics in different ways. And so she kind of transitioned from helping people who had terminal and children who had terminal illnesses, and then kind of transitioned over to a funeral home working in the aftercare, which meant she was at the first viewings. She would connect with the families after. She would do gathering of like widow, kind of like support groups, but not technically a support group. And she, if let's say a man and woman had lived their whole lives where the man always wrote the checks, pumped the gas, and then he dies, well, the woman has no idea how to pump her gas or write checks and needs someone to help her, and my mom would go do those things with them. And so when I turned 16, needed a job, she's like, why don't you work at a funeral home? I was like, all right.
Oh wow.
So it was answering phones, and this was back when there was pagers and very primitive cell phones. And so for like a small town funeral director to go to his kids' activities or to just have a life outside of the funeral home, someone physically had to be in the building for long durations of time. So from 9 to 9 every day, someone was in the building answering phones, helping people. So then when the funeral director would leave, they could actually go kind of have a life and do some things without being tied to the phone all the time. So I just worked 6-hour shifts and did a lot of vacuuming, dusting, setting up chairs, breaking down chairs, setting up chairs, breaking down chairs, and greeting folks at visitation, typing paperwork on an actual typewriter. So, just a lot of mundane things that are not super exciting, but very important and necessary at a funeral home. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. And so in doing this, do you have a different outlook on death?
On death. I don't know that it's different. I don't know how my outlook would ever be if I wasn't around death care. So I think that's kind of hard. And, I'm terrified of death. Not so much mine, like what's happening with me, but more so leaving my kids. That part has changed. I'm scared of death. I don't let myself get caught up in thinking about it or running, a lot of the big questions that I think can become super overwhelming if you start thinking of them, like the universe and everything, and just the big magnitude questions. I think more so now I'm not so scared of my death, but of not being here for my children, and I'm not gonna know that I'm not here with my children, and that scares me.
That does sound a little.
So yeah, so it's that kind of stuff that gets to me. But I don't know if I don't think that's a me thing. I think that's probably anyone with children is
Yeah.
going to fear that and not want to leave their children. So it's hard to say that that's different because of death care.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I did raise my nieces. So, but in doing this, I don't know if I'm a paranormal investigator, and I'm kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know, me going to cemeteries or anything like that. It's just, and even seeing your videos, it's just, I'm like, for me, I've become more comfortable with death. Um,
Yeah.
I know for one, life doesn't just end there. Like that's a fact because energy never dies. But I also wonder, we're like, how will it be? You know,
Yeah.
I definitely have a different outlook on it. I'm more comfortable. Um, so yeah, I mean, um, hold on, I had to write my notes down, Carrie, because I was kind of
That's
nervous.
okay. Don't be nervous.
Nervous.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No being nervous.
Yeah. All right. So have you worked on any celebrities?
No, not in the way that I guess celebrity is viewed. We have had different over time victims of crime that have been in the news, and by that they would be probably distinctive or celebrity in some of that way, but not in the way of, I guess, how a lot of people view. People say call me a celebrity just because I'm on YouTube, which is, I think, really weird because that's not at all what I am.
Yeah.
But I think that word, it just, I guess, definition of the word, but people of notoriety, so to speak. So definitely some victims of crime who have been in national news, things like that. And we've had a couple like actresses or actors, but nobody that was really
Like, yeah.
notable per se that you would, if I said, hey, their name, that you would know them. But it was just interesting because they do have a stage name and they do have their real name. So having to identify them as both with it, like on the backside for us within the business is, just definitely is trickier because someone may call and say, hey, do you have Mary Smith? And Mary Smith really went by like Betty Miller as her stage name, but Betty Smith was her birth name. So people are calling asking for one person, but they're actually referencing another. So we have to tag everything as basically both names
Yeah, I was
so
about to
that
say that.
everybody knows. And then, because one is going to be legal and one is going to be just a chosen name. And so we have to figure out, okay, legally, what were they on everything, and then go from there. But like with a lot of people, changing your name is just hard. I recently went to a presentation at the National Funeral Director Convention about transgender and issues that we're running into in death care and how to handle maybe certain scenarios. And, they asked the question because it's kind of with transgender, if you go from, one chosen gender to another, do you legally change your name? And they're like, okay, how many of you have gotten divorced and just didn't change your name back because it's a pain in the butt? Same thing with actors, actresses, with people who change genders by choice. They don't always go through all of the necessary steps to legally change everything. So then we have to be dual identifying them by all these names across the board because of those things.
Now, have you ever gotten anyone mixed up? And if someone does that, what are the repercussions?
Mixed up in terms of like,
oh, this is not the person we were supposed to work on today, or
no, not yet. I always try to be very cautious, but we have received individuals from hospitals that were misidentified. Their personal tags did not match the tags on the bag. But that's why you have to have a huge due diligence within your care team, within your staff, that you are triple checking everything. A lot of funeral homes require an identification before cremation just because of that they want to make sure if two bodies were brought in during the night, they didn't get mismatched or mislabeled, and that who is named Mary Smith is physically actually Mary Smith as she goes off to the crematory. So that's why a lot of things happen, is because human mistakes get made. They're going to get made, and it's not, you know, we all make mistakes. There are always errors, but when it comes to death care, these are finite, these are forever errors if you cremate the wrong person,
Oh,
because cremation is irreversible. You can rebury somebody, dig up the wrong body and put the right body in the grave, but you can't uncremate someone for someone if it happens. So funeral homes have become a lot more, I think, strict in some of those measures as well.
yeah, okay, yeah. That's the part that I was gonna ask you about too. Have you ever seen anything or witnessed anything in working in this field, paranormal wise? I know you probably get that a lot.
Yeah. So yes, several times, more so outside of work. I do not believe, I 100% do not believe that there is anything attached to the bodies that come in the funeral home.
Like,
I don't feel anything. I don't sense anything. I don't believe there is anybody watching me when I am with them. I think what I have experienced paranormal wise is because they're old homes, because they used to be carriage houses, they used to be, belong to other places, because deaths occurred in these buildings. That's why I think there may be paranormal things, not because we bring in dead bodies. I don't believe that they're there with them, just because there's an emptiness rather than a presence.
okay. So what's the process like when you do these bodies? Can you kind of elaborate on that, like from start to finish? Is it like a quick process? Are you the one that's doing the makeup, or are you just
To like embalm
yeah,
or to do, yeah, if we're embalming, I mean, a quick synopsis of it. We're sanitizing them, bathing them. They are completely naked on the table, private parts covered. And we make a small incision in the neck. That's preferred by most embalmers. So we'll go with kind of the mainstream. Small incision in the neck. The embalming machine is filled with fluids. It is like 75% water, and the rest is the chemicals that we choose depending on the situation. The machine's turned on, injected into the artery, and it's not exactly a replacement system, but because you're putting the fluid in, blood is being removed during that as well. It's not being pumped out, it's just going out on its own. It's being pushed out because the other is being pushed in. And then we aspirate and suck all the bacteria we can out of the cavity of the person, replace that by fluid, close the eyes, close the mouth, not all in that order specifically. And then clean them up again, dry them off, cosmetize, dress, casket, all of that. So that's like super nutshell of kind of
yeah?
what we do.
Okay, wow. Okay. It doesn't seem like a difficult process. But also I've seen so many videos online, and it's very intriguing. And also it's just very relaxing to know that you have someone taking care of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff I've seen online is like, wow. But your videos are very pleasant to watch because I learned a lot of stuff. I'm not just into, I don't know what happened. I'm not just into one
Oh,
particular thing. Like, I don't know what happened. All right, can you see me?
yeah, we're good, I think.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I think that's all the questions that I have for today.
Did you want me to tell you about any of my paranormal?
Yes, I would.
A
I would
little
love
bit.
that. I tell people all the time before you start, I tell people what I'm doing, and they're like, why are you doing that? Black people don't do that. I said, girl, I know, but it's interesting. Like,
Oh, it is. People want to know. They want to, I think
Yeah.
I think what people want to know about funeral directors experiencing that is because they're wondering if, like, when I bring their mom in, if their mom's still with them.
Oh,
And I want to say no to that. But the biggest that I had happen at a funeral home, and I do have a video on this, so it's not new information, but the owner of the funeral home had died upstairs in the residence a couple weeks before it happened. When it happened, he had already been buried, and other deaths had occurred in that building as well because there was a home upstairs. And so over the years, there had been deaths. And I was sitting at a desk, and to my right, there is the entrance to the funeral home. There's a huge window above the funeral home door. And then there's like 4 or 5 stairs to come up to the office where I am. So off to my right is a huge window with the sun coming in very strong. There's a front door, and then there's a stair to go down to the basement where we meet families, and there's like an office kind of thing where we put together these panels that you would put in the casket with pictures on them. Anyway, so the person from the office that was there with me that day had gone to the basement to go do one of those panels. I'm sitting there working at my computer, and to my right, I see this dark go past, and the light is blocked out literally completely, like someone is walking past and blocking that light. And so I assumed she had come upstairs. So I go out and I kind of look around because I was like looking for her, and I went and she was still downstairs. So something or someone or whatever had come past me and was dense enough to block out all of the sunlight. But as soon as that happened, I thought, oh, that's who it is. Like, as soon as I realized they were downstairs, I was a little like, ooh. But then I just thought, it's the former owner that had just died going through his routine, because he had been a funeral director for almost his whole life and died in the funeral home and everything. So to me, if he was there, he's going through his routine of what he would do for work kind of thing. And so and that only happened one time while I was there. And then the one funeral home I'm at a lot is very well known by anybody that's been there to be haunted. It was a very old home in town, been built on a whole bunch. The basement is like a Michigan sub-basement kind of thing. All of the care center is underground, that where all the deceased are handled. And there is often noises, walking, sounds, things that happen, especially at night if you're there doing prep work, which is not often for people anymore. But everybody who's been there at night has stories. The one day, there is a door that is always locked, always. And it's got like one of those slide little locks that drop down. So kind of I don't know what those are called. And it was completely shut. And this is by the back door. You walk in, there's a door up into one of the rooms. It's always locked because we never use that door. So my man at the time was working there with me too. He had just come in and went to do something and had walked past that door, and it was closed. He came back by and the door was completely open. I mean, fully open. Nobody, and when I mean nobody uses that door, nobody uses that door. It was completely unbolted and open. So he closed it, bolted it. I happened to come in the funeral home less than 5 minutes later. And I walked in and that door was completely open. And I thought, that's really weird. Nobody ever uses that. So I shut that door and bolted again. And then I went and I ran into him and I said, what's weird? That door upstairs is open. He goes, are you serious? Because I closed it and locked it. And I was like, that's so weird. So little things like that, like, yes, there could be explanations. Yes, but it's something we cannot explain. And that's what paranormal is. I'm not claiming there's ghosts. I'm not claiming there's anything. It's just something that's unexplainable. So there it is. I've had other things happen outside of work in different homes that I've lived in things. So I'm open to the ideas and open to the thoughts that there is something that exists around us, whether it's an energy, whether it's a person's present, whatever it may be. Yeah. But I think you have to be open to the possibility to really be able to sometimes experience it. But yeah, I've had several different, very, very definitive, very strong things happen. Can't explain them, so they're paranormal, you know?
Wow. I've experienced some things as well that I can't explain, but it's never been anything malicious. Like one
Yeah,
time, I had just a quick story. I was getting up for a drink of water in the middle of the night. You know, you be thirsty sometimes. So I went
yeah.
to open the door of my bedroom and the door opened for me. And it was a very gentle, I live alone. So the door opened for me and I said, thank you. I don't know. I was like, I know I'm not asleep. You know, this is not a dream, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel scared. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't freaked out, you know? And I just said, thank you. And I went to go get my water and took my butt to bed. So I don't know. I've had a couple experiences, which is why I kind of decided to start doing this. But I think your job is so interesting. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
It's very
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah.
Now, where are you located physically? Like, where are you?
Well, I'm on the West Coast, San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
My man's stepdaughter just moved there last week, and so I think we're going to be coming out there to visit, hopefully in the spring or whatever. So
Have you ever been to the West Coast?
I've been to like LA area several times, but I've not, and I've gone to San Francisco and stuff, but I've never gone to San Diego. So I've heard it's gorgeous,
Yes.
but yeah, so I'm kind of excited to come out there.
Yeah, you would love it. I was thinking about doing a paranormal investigation at a morgue. Just
Ooh,
see how, you know, that would feel. Um, but yeah, I think that would be interesting. Anyways, you inspire me.
oh, thank you. That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. I appreciate your time, Carrie.
No, of
Hopefully
course.
we could do this again and I will be a little less nervous.
I'm the most like I don't I of anybody to be nervous around, I'm like the least yeah, and just me. So it's no big deal.
Right? I tell that to people too, girl, calm down.
I know. It's like no
My,
big deal. It's
my
no big deal.
Beyonce perfume this morning to give me some courage.
Oh,
Carrie, hold on. Squirt. But yeah, but yeah. I appreciate you.
I can't I
Girl,
can't even.
it's right here and I got the bottle.
Girl,
Yeah.
I love it. I don't even know what that
Hold
smells like. I'm gonna go hunt that down so I can see what it smells like now. That's so
on.
funny. I
It
love it.
smells so good. It gives you the courage of Beyonce, and that's what I needed to talk to you.
Oh my Lord, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go hunt it down so I know what it smells like.
for sure. I appreciate your time. Hopefully, we can do this again.
Yeah. Well, if I come to San Diego, we can do it in person.
Oh,
So
that would be awesome. I will
that'd
pay. I
be fun.
will compensate you, Carrie. I will,
Oh,
because this
you
is
can
your.
buy me a coffee or a
I
glass
got,
of wine,
girl,
which your choice.
I'm a coffee girl now. I know about some
Okay.
Starbucks. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
They
Yes.
know my bank account information, but in the day I get paid. But yeah, but yeah. So I'll be talking to you next time. It was a pleasure.
Sounds good. Thank you.